What's up, guys? This is Straight Shot. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to do a little disclaimer. You won't be seeing the actual footage to the Javelin runs just because, for whatever reason, the VIP demo worked great. I didn't have any frame rate issues. I don't know what happened between the VIP demo to the open demo. Something happened, but whatever happened, it killed my frame rates. I could actually play the game. The game was fine, but when it was recording in OBS, it was too laggy. It dropped down to 13 frames at a certain point. I thought it was my video card. I've got it fixed, so everything should be running great now when the game comes out. I will be playing February 15th for most people that's got the Premier access, so I will be playing the 15th. Hopefully they've gotten their end fix as far as the performance issues, and I'm hoping that then I can have my end fix as well, so that I can bring you guys good videos. I wouldn't want to show you guys the videos just because it'll probably drive you nuts, so I am going to have footage back there, but it's not going to be of the actual from these runs here. So I do apologize. I really wish I could have gone back and redid that, but I couldn't. I didn't have the same people with me, so I couldn't reenact everything and re-record. So, but I was able to get the numbers that I was looking for, the timing on everything. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like the video. If not, I do apologize again, but I did still want to bring you some information that I found that was pretty interesting. So I hope you guys enjoy. What's up, everybody? Straight Shot here again. I wanted to bring you a little something different today. It is Anthem, but it's a little something we tried. A couple of my friends got together and we wanted to try something out. We wanted to do the Tyrant Mine with just single Javelin runs. And so what we did was we just did full group of Colossus, full group of Interceptors, full group of Storms, and full group of Rangers. The numbers that came out of it was a little odd, to say the least. Again, a little disclaimer, these numbers are not set in stone. This is not exactly what it could be. It could have been different. I would have rather just ran these things a few times on the same Javelins just to kind of get an average of the numbers, but we'd only had enough time to do at least one run of each. And so from the numbers I got, they were a little different than what I expected. It's kind of interesting what we'll go through. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of go through each one. I separated them in different phases, and I'll give a total at the end of who was the fastest and who was the slowest. So let's get started. So first, let's start with the Colossus. We kind of thought, this guy's going to be the slowest. We're not going to finish this in time. In some areas, we were a little faster than some, and some areas were slower. So we'll go through it and then kind of breaking up the way we did it in phases was a total of 5. One being the moment you load in to having to return the 8 echoes on the first round. The second phase is actually 2 parts in the second phase. The first part is the end of phase 1 to delivering 8 echoes. Once you've delivered 8 echoes, it goes into like a second phase where you have to down one of the bigger tank bosses. Once you down him, the rest of the echoes open up and you can return those to get the full total 12. So that's 2 phases there. And then I broke it into a phase 3 where we have to deliver the little relics that you get from the little cave entrances. I started the time on the moment we delivered the first relic to the time the loot box shows up. And then the last is the boss. And from the time I took from that was the moment the boss lands on the ground to the moment we hear the death scream. That's the different phases. And so we'll kind of go through it. And we'll start with the Colossus. The Colossus phase 1 took 3 minutes and 11 seconds. I kind of figured that it was going to take a little bit. I thought it would be a little bit slower actually, but we, instead of taking the time to have to defeat everybody, we had one guy going out and trying to get all the echoes, and once he got all the echoes, we had a couple other guys just trying to get all the fire on them so that they can distract them from him getting the echoes. So once we finished that part, it took 3 minutes and 11 seconds. The next round, what I call phase 2.1, it was actually 3 minutes and 49 seconds. This is from the time it took to get the very end of phase 1. We made it down to the next little area there. We started again. That's a little bit different. You have turrets that you have to fight and you have to watch out for, and you being a big old Colossus, you really don't have shields that you regenerate, so we did have to kill some enemies, and it took a little bit of time, but it took 3 minutes and 49 seconds to finish that first part. Kind of rushed through it a little bit faster than we thought, a lot slower than the rest, but we did manage to do it on all 4. And then phase 2.2, which was actually the phase that where once we turned in that 8th echo, and then we respawn more scars out, and then you have the little mini boss that comes out to defeat him and then open up the second round of echoes. Actually took 2 minutes and 23 seconds. That was pretty quick. You have issues where it's hard to find things because of the Colossus. You can't regenerate your shields. You have to go out and kill some enemies, so you drop some health packets, and you have to be very, very careful on how you do that. But it did take about 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Now phase 3, this is when the very first relic is delivered onto the platform there to the moment the loot loot chest. So this is going to be a longer on everybody, and all of us being up there with ranged, it wasn't that big of a deal. So it didn't take too long, but it was actually not that bad. It took 4 minutes and 42 seconds. That was the longest I've had of every run that we did, every phase. So, but it did take a little while just because you have to stand up there and you have to wait, but it wasn't too bad. Now the boss fight, this is the moment the boss hits the ground to the very moment that the boss actually does his death scream, or her death scream. So basically that took about 6 minutes and 23 seconds to down the boss. It was kind of interesting. I thought it'd be a little bit quicker with that because you have your Colossus that has that big hand cannon that they can use, and you figured, with all that going at that boss at the same time, it would be a little bit quicker than that. But it did go down after about 6 minutes and 23 seconds. So I think if we had ran maybe a little bit different loadouts, it would have not been so bad. I believe with my Colossus, I can't remember what they were running, but I know with mine I was running with acid spray so that I could actually get the bosses to take more damage. Figured we could down them a lot faster that way because you don't have really too many primers actually with a Colossus, so it was a little bit harder to combo, and so I figured with the acid spray we could do that. Moving on to the Interceptor, a lot of these numbers were a little bit that's what I main. I love Interceptor. I figured this would be a little bit tougher during the second phase area because you take a lot of damage, you have to dash around quite a bit, and you really rely on your other teammate. You really rely on them to be able to help set you up for a lot of combos, and because you're more of a support class. You can main as a DPS straight damage dealing classes, which is what I was running on this one. I was doing less of a support than I would normally do with a team of different Javelins, but it is what it is. I figured the best way to do this was to go straight DPS because I wouldn't have people that I could set up to help support. So with the Interceptor, phase 1, again, from the moment we loaded in to delivering all 8 echoes, it took about 4 minutes and 1 second. A little bit longer than some. Is actually the longest out of all of them. It took the longest for us to set that up just because, again, you have to be a lot careful with the Interceptor. You can't just run in and face smash them right off the bat. You have to dash in there, dash back out. So it was a little interesting. And so then phase 2.1, which is the end of phase 1 to delivering the first 8 echoes with about 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And then phase 2.2, which is the moment the boss loads in to when you finish loading all the echoes in, it was 1 minute and 38 seconds. So it didn't take too long. I believe 2 of us had ultimates up, and they were able to down the boss pretty quickly to open up the 4 gates, the 2 on each side, to be able to get those echoes in pretty quickly. So it didn't take too long to do that. Now phase 3, this again when you deliver the first relic to when the loot chest came out, that was 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Again, that took the longest just because I believe because we're melee based, a lot of us had to jump off the platform to go do our ultimates to down those enemies pretty quick. I think if we stayed up there a little bit longer, we could have probably got a better number on that, but it did take about 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Now the boss was very surprising on this. It took 5 minutes and 7 seconds. That was the quickest out of all the Javelins. I actually thought it was going to take the longest just because, when your ultimate, it's not really ranged for being able to hit their weak points are. It's a little bit harder to do that with the Interceptor, but it was the fastest out of all the Javelins, believe it or not. Again, that's from the moment the boss lands on the ground to the moment it has a death scream. And so, yeah, it was pretty interesting. Now moving on to the Storm, phase 1, again, from the loading time to 8 echoes delivered, took 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Phase 2.1, this is delivering the first 8 echoes, took 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Phase 2.2, this is downing the little mini boss and getting the last 4 echoes out, took 1 minute and 47 seconds. And then phase 3, that's delivering the first relic up on the platform there to the moment that the loot chest came out. That was actually 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And then the boss fight, this is where it kind of got weird for me. I thought this was going to happen a lot faster, but I think if we had went with a different loadout, maybe with a fire loadout, we would probably down the boss a little bit faster, but it was actually the slowest out of all the Javelins. It took 7 minutes and 1 second. I think some of it also had to do with some of us didn't main Storm, so we didn't have a lot of great gear. We did have an average of a 127 to 133 gear score on our Storms, so it wasn't like we're all low level, but it did take longer than we thought. I think again, if we went with a fire run, I went with ice shards and lightning bolt just because I felt like I was gonna have to freeze a lot of people and it would help, especially through the turrets. But it is what it is. It took about 7 minutes and 1 second. Again, that was the longest out of all the Javelins, so it was a little odd to me. So moving on to the Ranger, phase 1, again, load in to delivering the first echoes, which were 8 echoes. We took 2 minutes and 35 seconds. It was about an average there, so it's a little bit faster. It's actually the fastest out of all the other Javelins. It's pretty interesting. Phase 2.1, that's delivering the first 8 echoes. That was actually 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Phase 2.2, that's when the mini boss popped out and we were able to deliver the last 4 echoes. It took 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Phase 3, that's when we delivered the first relic up on the platform down to where the loot chest popped out. That took 4 minutes and 32 seconds. And then downing the boss again, that's when the boss lands to the death scream, took 5 minutes and 52 seconds. That was actually not the slowest, but it wasn't the fastest either. So again, the fastest on the boss was the Interceptor, next being the Ranger, and then the Colossus, and then last being the Storm. So kind of looking at all the Interceptors together, what the time that it took. This is not flight time. This is not, flying from one phase to another. I took a lot of that kind of stuff out of there because I felt like it's not really fair because, you can get there a lot faster with the Interceptor versus the Colossus. So I kind of took that out and kind of get just mostly battle time or what you had to do, like returning the relics or getting the echoes. So basically that's kind of what I wanted to see there. And so here's the numbers, and actually the first place of all the Javelins that I didn't think it was going to be, but it was the Ranger. The Ranger came out to 18 minutes total time even. They were the first ones to be able to finish everything. So it was actually the third run we did out of all the Javelins, but it came out to be the first one to finish the actual Tyrant Mine. So it was kind of interesting. Second place, the Storm. It came out to be 18 minutes and 56 seconds to do all the different phases down to the last boss. I think it would have been a lot quicker had we done a little bit different loadout, like a fire loadout or something. We could have probably downed that boss a lot faster. Again, these are not real numbers, hard numbers. This is not set in stone. Again, it goes by loadouts, gear score, things like that, and how you play your Javelin. So third place came out to be the Interceptor, which was 19 minutes and 18 seconds, and what I expected to the Colossus, he was fourth place with 20 minutes and 28 seconds. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. It was really fun to do. First off, we just wanted to see that if you could do it, and you can. It just depends again on your gear, what you're running with, experience with the Javelin. We had some people that never played a Colossus. They didn't pick up a Colossus at all ever, so they were a little new to it. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know exactly some of their moves, but again, these are experienced players, so they knew to use what they needed to use, again, their abilities and things like that. So it was kind of interesting how it all came out. Again, these are not set numbers. This is not, this is the best Javelin versus the worst Javelin. It has nothing to do with that. It all comes down to gameplay. It comes down to what you believe that you could do with your character. Again, I think having a mix of these characters or these Javelins really help make this a lot quicker. I ran this dungeon in 15 minutes just because we had people that knew exactly what they were doing and they could knock things out fairly quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was a good video for you guys to kind of watch and kind of get an idea of how long and how fast you can do certain things. But again, these are not set numbers. It was just interesting, and thought I'd share with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, please subscribe if you haven't already, because I will be bringing more videos. I won't just be doing Anthem videos. I will be doing other videos. There is a new game out called Apex Legends, I believe. I'm not great at those games. I'm actually horrible at it. Don't let the name Straight Shot make you think that I'm really great at it, because I'm not in the slightest. So hopefully you guys don't think that hey, this guy's going to be good. No, I'm not. I'm not the best. I'm just an average gamer, just like most people out there. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst, but I try to hold my own if I can. But I would like to bring you guys just videos, good content, and try to hopefully share with you guys the things that I do. So hopefully you enjoy, and thanks for watching.